Yeah. Greetings to you all, wherever you are joining us from. I am Mr. Emmanuel Agyei of the CLIMAX Consult, an academic tutor and a band 9 expert of the IELT. Tonight, I want to present to you what we call the assessment criteria in the speaking component. And the speaking component, as you have already been taught in our previous class, consists of 3 parts. We have the part 1, part 2, and the part 3. Tonight, this afternoon, this morning, wherever you are joining us from, I want to touch on the assessment criteria, which is basically how we assess you on the speaking component. So, in summary, the assessment criteria of the speaking component is solely based on the fluency and coherence of the test taker. From that, we move to the lexical resource, which is the use of vocabulary. We come to the pronunciation, which have got to do with how well you pronounce words. Then we come to the grammatical range and the accuracy. I want us to have a closer look of a lecture note I prepared to help you on the assessment criteria real quick. So what we have on the screen is the assessment criteria of the speaking component. The first one is the fluency and coherence. Fluency and coherence. Fluency and coherence. So it is a criterion that have got to do with the test taker's ability to speak the language, which is and in a logically sequenced manner. Candidates' ability to avoid long pauses, silences, and hesitation demonstrates their fluency. So basically, when we talk about fluency, you've got to understand that fluency is totally different from coherence. Coherence simply refers to the test taker's ability to speak in a very comprehensible manner. So fluency have got to do with how well you can speak without continuous hesitations. A common example is when you are being asked a question of, do you work or study? I am a worker. I school. Hey, sorry. I am working and I am doing part-time. Hey, I work. Hey, the moment you begin to speak this way, as if you are not cocksure of whatever you are saying, it quickly affects your fluency and coherence. Whenever you are being asked a question, you are always advised to speak boldly and to be cocksure of whatever you are saying. Don't forget that the speaking component is 80% based on the fluency and coherence. An antidote I want to give you to help you is that if it is speaking in a relaxed manner, that is going to help you to flow without hesitation. Please do it that way. The reason is that many people, in the course of speaking in a speedily manner, end up making mistakes. However, when we say you are to speak slowly, doesn't necessarily mean you are to speak very slow with continuous pausing or silences. When we talk of the coherence, it simply refers to your ability to speak in a very comprehensible manner. All that I'm trying to mean about the coherence simply mean your ability to connect the sentences of the scenario of the answer you are giving. Do you work or study? Currently, I work as a registered general nurse, as a registered general nurse where we give care to the sick. But I have plans to further my education. Realize that with this, every sentence is connected to the scenario or the idea of the question being asked. We go to the second criterion by the name grammatical range and accuracy. Grammatical range and accuracy. So as the name implies, grammatical range and accuracy, it is about the range of sentence structures a candidate is able to use in speaking the correct grammar. The correct application of grammar in speaking components helps you to obtain a good score. So when we talk about the grammatical range and accuracy, it is a broad thing for us to consider. The tenses to use is very, very important. Do you remember of a picture you took during your childhood days? What tense are you thinking of? Of course, it is going to be of the past tense that you're going to use. It is going to be of the past tense that you're going to use because the question is being asked in a past tense mode. They were asking of a picture you took during your childhood stage. So grammatical range and accuracy is very important for us to consider. Working on your grammar, working on your tenses as well. We quickly look at the third criterion by the name lexical resource. This criterion involves the test taker's ability to exhibit wide range of vocabulary. The test taker's ability to use unfamiliar words or high register word is necessary to attain high scores. The right use of collocations and expressions to suit the content is very important. Now, all that we want you to understand at the lexical resource here is that for every question, it comes with its right vocabulary. For instance, when two cars crash each other, or when two moving vehicles hits each other, we do not say the cars crashed or the cars hit each other, but rather the correct vocabulary to use is to say the two cars collided. The two cars collided. Of course, when we have a boat that have turned upside down on a river or on the sea, the right vocabulary to use is capsize. Capsize. We quickly look at the next criterion, which is the last criterion by the name pronunciation. 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 And this one has to do with the candidate's ability to pronounce words correctly. Test takers are not expected to change their accent. However, candidates with strong accents that interfere with the correct pronunciation of words can have it affect their score. So here, it has got to do with how bold you speak, how loud you speak for the examiner to hear you, then the accent. Now, mind you, pronunciation is not a time for you to behave that you can even speak better than the interviewer. Irrespective of the continent you are watching me from, at the pronunciation, you are expected to pronounce words according to how the words are being spelled. To To those watching me all the way from Nigeria, when we consider a word like basement, basement, the ending of the word sound as ment, basement. But we will have a lot of our Nigerians saying basement. Please, I'm sorry to say, in this instance, you have to do your best to pronounce words correctly, clearly, according to how they are being spelled. A word like basement will be pronounced as basement and not basement, as being normally said by Nigerians. I don't know if the British Council do consider, by virtue of the nationality or by virtue of the country you are and you are writing the IELTS. If they do, then you are at a good place. But if they don't do, you really have to pronounce words according to how they are being spelled. A typical example I want to give again is that we should not always try to slang for the tutor to hear us. In other words, you have to be the raw you. You have to be the raw you. You are not expected to copy somebody's grand style. In that case, you might be complicating your own self on the main speaking interview day. I am Mr. Emmanuel Agyei. I was your host and tutor for today, bringing you the best of our IELT masterclass. For everyone preparing for the IELT, seeking for a place to study, I want you to know that we are a recognized consult in Ghana and we are always running class for people via Zoom. I want you to know that we are currently running a discount class for people who want to join our IELTS class globally. Distance is not a barrier. I'm inviting you all to message our official numbers, search on our Facebook platforms by the name CLIMAX Consult, and you can reach out to us. Thank you for having me. I am Mr. Emmanuel Agyei from CLIMAX Consult. Thank you for having me. All right, so family, that is it about today's webinar.